Good afternoon. My name is Sonia Alejandra Conde Conde, and today I'm going to present the analysis of Jane Eyre. I am I have chosen Jane Eyre because it's a very romantic story, and it's very interesting for me because I have watched the movie, but I have never read the book. And the book has many details, and it's more interesting than the movie. Jane Eyre was written by Charles Bronte, who is an English was an English novelist. He was written in 1847 and is denominated like an autobiography because this novel has many detailed parts of the biography of Charles Bronte. The story is about a poor orphan girl, and she lived in a big and a rich mansion with his aunt Mrs. Reed, but she is very cruel with her and her cousins too. She suffered a lot because she is considered a bad girl only because she defend herself against her awful and aggressive cousin. Later, she is sent to a school very demanding, and she suffered a lot. At the beginning, she suffered a lot because in that school, in the lower school, there the school doesn't provide enough food for the young girls. Uh, the education in that school were very demanding and cruel, in my personal opinion, because the girls have to be in a very precarious ways. Uh, they have to live in a very poor way to reach the sanctity, or they have to suffer to see God, and they have to endure the cold. They only was allowed to change his clothes once a week, and it is not the most hygiene in this life. The owner of this school was Mr. Blackcross. He was very minor at the beginning with Jane because her aunt said that she was a very bad girl. Uh, but with over time, she got a very good friend that was Helen, but Helen died. Helen suffered from tuberculosis and she finally died. It was like an epidemic of typhus and tuberculosis, but suddenly credible people support money and give money to this school, and this school became in a better place to study. Jane Eyre was in this school during 8 years. 6 years like student and 2 years like a governess. She learned to play the piano She learned how to speak French. She learned painting, and she learned to crew. She was a very intelligent woman. So when she was only 18 years old, she decided to go out of lower school and look for other opportunities. And she found a job in Thornfield as a governess of a young girl of 10 years old. She she went to Thornfield Mansion. She knew the housekeeper, who was a very kind and warm person. Later, she knew the owner of the house, that was the serious man, an honorable man, Mr. Rochester, and she fell in love with him, despite of the fact that he was at the beginning very serious. Uh, they decided to get married, but Jane discovered that he has a crazy wife inside his house. So she decided to escape. Then she's abandoned in the middle of the road, and she find a house, the Moore house. Surprisingly, she found three cousins in the house, and later she began to work as a teacher of a group of girls, and she inherited the fortune of one of her aunt. So she decided to go Thornfield to look for Mr. Rochester, but she found that the mansion is in ruins. She's worried, and a person told that the crazy wife provoked a fire, and Mr. Rochester lost his hand, and he was blind. So she decided to look for, and she found him very sad sitting in a chair, and she confessed that she loved him too much, and she will always be with him, and she will do everything for him. Uh, Finally, she forgive him, and they get married and have a child, and they live happy, very happy forever. In this novel, a marked religious influence is seen. Death is considered as a transition to a better life and a beautiful encounter with God. Suffering is the means to see the glory of God. In general, Jane is one of my favorite characters in this novel. She was very rebel, and she had a strong character. She was a very strong person. Despite the suffering she had to go through, she was always a courageous person, and she finally received what she deserved: her independence as a woman, and a kind and very respectful man like Mr. Rochester. But it's important to say that she's not dependent of Mr. Rochester. She's a very independent woman in a very chauvinist society, because she's very intelligent. She has her own profession, own job, and she has she has her own money. There are some important themes in this novel. One of the themes are religious aspect that is very strong because believe that so it's suffering that you have to meet with God. You have to be a moral person, a covered person always. Your life have to be modest. The other aspect is social class. Social class very marked because Jane is not considered an interesting person only because she is poor. But she contradicts this thing because she's a very intelligent person. She got a lot of things alone, and this knowledge is practical, a critical of Victorian England strict social hierarchy. In one occasion, she said to Mr. Rochester, "You think that I am heartless because I am proper and a poor person?" She has feelings, she has dreams, despite the fact that she is very poor. The romanticism is very marked in the story, and the play of role genders because she's strong and she's not submissive at all with Rochester that is a little male chauvinist. The important symbols are Bertha Manson, that was the mad wife of Mr. Rochester. She's like an impediment. She's unhappiness of Jane. The red bedroom is like the fears that have Jane. In this novel is very marked the morality. You have to be courage. You have to be a good person. And I like that she keep her identity in a very male chauvinist society. And that's my analysis. Thank you so much. It's not only a romantic, a very romantic novel. No, it's more. It's like a critical to the Victorian England society, that age, 19th century, and the religious is very marked, and the social difference. Thank you so much.